Welcome back. In this tutorial, we're going to talk about a data structure called list in Python. A list is an ordered, mutable collection of items. Now, what that means is, since it's mutable, it means it can be changed. It can be modified, updated. You can delete items in the list and do a whole bunch of other different modifications to it. Lists can contain elements of different data types, including strings, integers, floats, and even other lists. So what I'm about to do is demonstrate that. And basically, lists are created using what is called a square bracket. So what I'm going to do now is create a list. I'm going to name it fruits. And in there, I'm going to add some strings with some names of fruits. So the first one is going to be apple. The second one is going to be banana. And the third one is going to be cherry. So, and then what I'm going to do next, I'm going to print this out in my terminal. So what I'm going to do is type Python 3 list.py. And there you go. I have my list printed out. Lists can also hold numbers. So I'm going to create another list of numbers. I'm going to set it equal to a list of numbers, just all the way up until 5. And I'm going to separate each one by a comma, which is how you should separate each item in a list. Then I'm going to print this to the terminal just to show you. There you go, my list full of numbers. The next thing I'm going to show you is how you could add different data types. So I'm going to add number, a string, a Boolean, and a float number, which is a decimal. So I'm going to call it mixed list. And then I'm going to add a number 1. I'm going to add a string of hello. I'm going to add a floating number, 3.14, which is pi. I'm going to add a Boolean, which is true. And then I'm going to print that out as well. So I can run this command down here. There you go. I have a mixed list with different data types of a number, string, floating number, which is a decimal, and a Boolean. So when working with list, so some of the characteristics of a list is the items in the list have a defined order, and that order will not change unless you modify the list. And like I told you before, lists are mutable, which means you can change a list in place by adding, removing, or modifying elements. They also can be heterogeneous, and you can have a mixed list, which contains items of different data, as I just demonstrated. So say if you wanted to access elements within the list, you can access elements in a list using their index, which start from 0. For example, say if I wanted to access apple from the fruits list, right? What I can do is type in fruits with the square bracket, right? And when it comes to list, how it works is with list, you start counting from 0. So apple would be at index 0, banana would be at index 1, cherry would be at index 2. So they go by indexes. You could access an item at that particular index. So for instance, I want to access apple. So I'm gonna put the 0 there. And then what I want to do is put this in a print command. And then I'm going to run that command again. And then there you go. We have apple right here. Line 10. That's the last line that's printed. Apple. And say if I wanted to access the next item, which is banana, I could just pretty much do the same thing. Matter of fact, let me just copy this. And then I'm just going to change this from 0 to 1. And like I said before, you start counting at 0, then you go to 1, 2, and so on, based on how many items are in this list. So with banana, this is at index 1. So if I run this again, I get banana down here. Another thing I want to show you is how you can modify these elements. So you can update, delete, and modify elements in different ways. So the first thing I want to do is modify the fruits list. And what I'm going to do is change. So what I'm going to do is update index 1, which is banana, with a new fruit. So what I'm going to do is type in fruits, right? And then I'm going to add the square bracket, and then I want to grab 1, which is banana, and then I want to set that equal to blueberry, right? And then I want to print it out. I'm going to print out fruits. I'm going to run this again. And then there you go, right here. We have apple, which is at index 0, blueberry, which is at index 1 now, because what we've done is we've accessed the item at index 1, which was banana, and we've updated that with blueberry, the fruit blueberry. And now when we print this out, we have apple, blueberry, and cherry instead of apple, banana, and cherry. Another thing you can do with list is you can append items, or you can add an item to the end of the list using the append method, which is a built-in method on a list. So I'm going to demonstrate. For instance, so if I wanted to add the fruit orange, so what I'm going to do is get rid of all of this right here. I just want to keep the fruits list as I demonstrate each one. Like say if I wanted to add the fruit orange at the end of the list, right? What I can do is have fruits dot append. So you would do dot append parentheses, and then you could add orange as a string to the list. So if I come down here and I do print fruits, you should see the orange added at the end of the list. So let me clear this up, run this again, and there you go. We have apple, banana, cherry, and orange. Make this a lowercase, keep it similar. There we go. Apple, banana, cherry, and orange. Orange is added at the end of the list. You can also insert an item at a specific index using the insert method. So for instance, say if I wanted to insert the fruit kiwi at index 1, right? What I can do is I can do fruits dot insert, and then I could do 1, and then add kiwi, right? And then I'm going to print that list, which should update that index with kiwi. So if we look at now, we have 0, because we've added this already. So this is going to be at the end, orange, right? Right. And then we're we're and then we're updating index 1, which will be banana, with kiwi. So if I run it again, we have apple, kiwi, banana, cherry, and orange. Now it still keeps the banana. It just updates that index, which was banana, to kiwi, and it pushes it to the next index, which now banana is at index 2. So we have 0, 1, 2. And then cherry, and then orange is added at the end. You can also remove items using the remove method, and it removes the first occurrence of a value. And you can also use the pop method, which removes an item at a specified index. So let's deal with remove. So first thing I'm gonna do is do fruits dot remove, right? And what I want to do is I'm going to remove kiwi from the list, right? And then what I'm gonna do is print the fruit list now, fruits, to show you that it has been removed. So let me run it again. There you go. So if we look, first we have the fruits list. We append an orange in there. That's the first one. And then we have the fruits dot insert, which we're adding kiwi at index one. We got that right here. And now we're removing kiwi from that list. And you can see it down here. We can also remove the last item from a list. So if you look at the last item that's printed, the last list, the last version of the list, which is apple, banana, cherry, or orange, the last item is orange. So if I wanted to remove that, what I can do is do fruits dot pop, right? And then what I'm going to do is print fruits, and that last item should be removed. So if I rerun it again, you'll see apple, banana, cherry, and orange is not there like it was before. Orange is gone. So that's how you can use the pop method. So some of the other things you can do with a list is you can create new lists by slicing an existing list. For example, say if I had a numbers list, right? And I'm going to set it equal to numbers from 1 to 6, right? And say if I wanted to grab everything from index 1 all the way up until 4, and index 4 is excluded. So I would do something like print, and then I would add numbers in there, and then I would add my square brackets. Then I want to start off with 1, and then I want to go up until index 4, but it won't include index 4. Index 4 will be excluded. So basically I could do something like this. Start off at 0, start off at index 1, which is 2, start off at, and then go to the next index, 2, which contains 3, index 3 contains 4, index 4 contains 5, but it's not included. So this should just print 2, 3, 4. So if I save it and then I run it, we see 2, 3, 4. Now say if I wanted to like exclude this and get things all the way up until index 3, I could do something like this. And then I can exclude this and not even have this in there, right? What is exactly going to happen? So when you exclude the first number and you keep the last number, you're just going to start off at the first index. So the first index is 0. That contains the number 1. The first index contains 2. The second index contains 3. And the third index contains 4, but that's not going to be included. So it's only going to have 1, 2, 3, and that's it. So if I run it, you see 1, 2, 3. Now, if I do it the opposite direction, right? I get rid of that, but I keep 3, right? This is going to start off with index 3 and go all the way to the end. So basically what I'm going to do is start off at index 3. So 0, 1, 2, 3. So 3 has 4. Index 4 has 5. Index 5 has 6. So this should print out 4, 5, and 6. So if I run it again, it's printing out 4, 5, and 6. And then you have other useful list methods, such as sort. And I'm going to show you this one. And I'm not going to show you every method because there are a lot of methods out there. So I'm going to show you one. So I'm going to do a number sort. So what I'm going to do is create another numbers. In fact, let me get rid of this. I'm going to create another numbers list. All right. And I'm going to set it to a whole bunch of different numbers in random order. And then what I want to do is sort this from smallest to largest. 5, 6. After I've created my numbers list, right? Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sort it from smallest to largest number using the dot sort method. And then next I'm going to print the numbers. The numbers should be sorted at this moment. So if I rerun this again, there we have 1, 2, 5, and 5, 6, 9, from smallest to largest. And that's pretty much it at this point for list. There's a lot of other stuff you can do with list. You could do a reverse. You could find the length, like how many items are in a list. There's a bunch of stuff you can do with it. What I recommend is to practice, go into the Python documentation and just look up all these different methods. Thanks for watching the video. See you in the next video.